If they block off one void deck, just go to the other one. There's so many void decks.
Yeah, we do. I live in the HDB. I see my kids playing downstairs.
I used to play downstairs. I used to play downstairs. Welcome back to part 2 of Yahoo Footballing Weekly with me, Yahoo columnist Neil Humphreys.
And me, Yahoo editor Chia Keong, and we have back with us Alex Duric, ex-Lions.
Yay!
Now we talk about the Singapore stuff, and this man was one of the greatest Lions I've ever seen play for Singapore. And if you don't believe me, go down to the Singapore Museum. Massive thing of this guy, right?
Museum, yeah.
Have you taken your kids to see that?
Not yet, actually. Not yet, but I'm thinking to. Yeah. They just put it, actually. They just put it that in last week. Yeah.
And I have to say this, right? I've told you this before, but when I go down to the Sengkang CC, I think it's Anchorvale. You go swimming there, and there's floor to ceiling high of him, ActiveSG. Every stroke, I've got Alex staring at me. He's like 50 feet high.
I have no idea what my picture's there. That's not even swimming.
Alex. He's like, my wife sees him, I see him, my daughter sees him. It's great though, it's great. We're going to get onto the ActiveSG later. But before that, thanks to you, as I say every week, last week's, man, the videos everywhere. Right? The viewership is up. Thank you very much. It's because of you.
Thank you.
We have a sponsor in StarHub.
StarHub, man. And you know, StarHub used to have this promotion with the Pioneer generation. Just $12.61 for the Premium Plus subscription.
Yeah. Do you qualify for that, Alex?
Nearly. I'm nearly there. Actually, I'm waiting for that.
But now they have another promotion, and this time it's not for the old ones. It's for the young ones, 18 to 25 years old.
Okay, I'm there.
You're there.
I'm also there.
You and Jay, the director. Yeah.
So if you're 18 to 25 years old, you can watch Premier League for the same price, $12.61 only.
Brilliant.
That's brilliant, right? I mean, this for limited time only. So quickly go and subscribe if you are willing, if you want to watch Premier League Plus.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, and as always, thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, because
still more.
The reason they are doing this because it's to combat piracy.
Okay.
So, you know, illegal piracy, we've talked with Johan Bus a couple of weeks ago. Piracy is a serious thing that's happening in this region. It harms your favorite club and it puts your devices and your personal data at risk. So I think this is a way for them to combat, advise the young ones, subscribe. It's just $12.61.
Yeah. To give a bit of perspective, because in Singapore we always complain, right? Yeah. In England, there was a period where you would spend more than $12 on one game. Like they call it the box office game.
Yeah.
So if it was a big game like Liverpool Man City, you'd have to top up and pay a box office fee like you do with the boxing, pay-per-view. So they'd have pay-per-view games that were sometimes more than $12. One game. And we get every single game live here. Yeah. And in England, you don't, because you don't get the 3 p.m. kickoffs on Saturday. There's a blackout. Yeah. There's a complete blackout. So you're spoiled. $12. Sign up. It's brilliant. All right. And thanks, as always, for your comments. So many good ones. You want to kick off?
Yep. So we have Sydney Grongs 8467. He always makes a comment. So he always says, great shows and always loving it. Thanks very much. Regarding physical strength versus talent, I think it's a mix of both. We were talking about Singapore's versus South Korea and how the South Koreans look quite strong,
very
and muscular compared to us. And then he says, look at the Australia's national team, which is my home nation. Australia had a golden generation a decade or so ago with the likes of Kewell, Cahill, Schwarzer, and Viduka.
Duric.
No, I didn't have them.
Who had the best of both worlds. Now look at Australia. They are physically dominant but no skill, to the extent I get scared about a World Cup qualifier against Vietnam. I'd love to any input from you, Neil, given your experience covering Australian football. As a side note, it will also be great to hear your opinion on the development of the A-League from the NSL and any learnings that the Singapore Premier League can take out of it.
Well, luckily we've got someone who played in the NSL.
Exactly.
So we'll go to Alex next. But I'll just say very briefly, yes, there are warnings for the Singapore Premier League that they can learn from the A-League, because a few years ago, Graham Arnold, who's now the Socceroos coach, he used to be the Sydney coach, he said that the A-League only served the A-League and nothing else, meaning he wanted a reserve league. He wanted a second division. He wanted promotion and relegation. Does this sound familiar to anyone in Singapore? Because the argument is that the A-League hasn't produced the players that the old National Soccer League produced because the grassroots connections to their communities produced like Mark Viduka, Mark Schwarzer, Harry Keong and lots of others. But that got lost when the A-League started. And you can kind of make that argument with Singapore a little bit, that since the Malaysia Cup and there's a splintering of the communities and the connection to football, the Singapore Premier League is not producing players as regularly as the Malaysia Cup days, and the A-League is not producing players of the quality of the National Soccer League, even though the National Soccer League was semi-professional mostly, and now the A-League is professional. So that's the similarity. The A-League is still trying to reconnect with its grassroots football, and the Singapore Premier League really needs to do the same. Alex, you played there. What do you think? What's the problem?
I played when it was a National Soccer League, and it was very much in kind of game of teams was made by immigrants clubs. Basically, it was Greeks, like Italian, ethnic clubs. Yes, and I guess didn't really work well because there wasn't really connected to the Australian people. There was when you was I was in South Melbourne, mostly like 100% Greeks support was there, and I believe when they started the A-League was really great opportunity to connect to all communities in Australia. What I see now these days, because I do follow the A-League very closely, I think they're starting connecting the League 2, which one is those clubs who used to be in NSL, they're now coming up to be like a second tier of the A-League.
That's good.
South Melbourne, Marconi, I think West Adelaide, Adelaide United, Adelaide City, or whatever. I think the clubs from those team clubs who was in NSL. And I can tell you that some of those clubs really have a big money and big supporters. So I hope this mixture can help, get talented boys and, to play, because it's always be technical. Football was always in Australia very technical. And a lot of those former players in Australia was coming from those, background, whatever is Greeks, Italians, Croatians, and, So moving forward, I think A-League at the moment is very structurized. Is not really nice to watch, to be honest, anymore. It's very physical, not much tactical, not much technical, very much tactical and physical. But they're still doing all right. I mean, they are still always qualified for the World Cup, which is important for the Australian football. Now what I believe what they need to do is they need to maybe mix a little bit with those technical clubs, try to bring them also to A-Leagues, let them to get a license to go into the A-Leagues, and then mixture, maybe that will help. Grassroots Day also, I'm always in Australia, and I can say that is very expensive. There's no cheap anymore. There used to be football was free for everybody. Now these days is a business. The kids pay the big money. It's about, I think $2,000, $3,000 for the kids to pay.
Sounds like Singapore.
Yes, yeah. So they become for the clubs to make some money, and but then actually in the long way they're hurting because they parents feel this is the big money, and then you have Australian football, AFL. Which one is very cheap. And then you're really fighting against different sports. When is the majority actually play footy, rugby, and rugby cricket, and all this. And parents. I always believe that football should be free, and for everybody. All really small amount of money, because but not to make for the small kids. You wanted them to enjoy and play and get them to play and love the sport. I think should be a reasonable price, but not make the business of that.
You know we live in Singapore, right?
I know, and I always argue. This is something which I always argue. I think I understand the private academies want to also to make money, because that's the way how they because they have a lot of expenses. They need to pay coaches and the facilities here, because they rent. There's nothing here, free. So I understand that, but I believe that if we want to get more and more kids to come and out, I think we should see how we can work on that to give opportunity for kids. I think my side as ActiveSG Football Academy, we do that. but we are really supported by government, and we're trying to get every kid to have opportunity to play sport.
And speaking of which, the training process, the development process, physicality. We talked about this so often the last few weeks, and we're still getting comments, I think, from Frankie, our old friend Frankie.
Open a can of, I'll say worms, but a lot of people talked about it when we stopped. So on the physical, at Frankie Go 8385 says, on the physics of our players, my view is slightly different from those of the hosts. The Koreans are obviously at another level, but with Irfan Fandi at 1.86 meter, Lionel Tan, Jacob Mahler, Ryan Stewart all about 1.84 meters, we probably have other things to worry about. For me, it's about balance. We need to complement these big boys who provide the muscles with the nimble ones, the playmakers, to once again overachieve and become good. If Lion City Sailors have to play 5-4-1 in the ACL, despite the quality of foreign imports they got, I don't see why Nishigaya should get criticism for his tactics. A lot of different points together.
Okay, I'll go for that one first before Alex comes in on the physicality part. Okay, I get the point. It's a fair point, but it's slightly not quite what we said. What I said was, whoever is the Lions coach, you've got to play the tactics with the players you have. Yeah. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool is a good example. If it's not working at right back, push him into central midfield and accommodate him. In the recent qualifiers, they played an extraordinarily defensive lineup against the South Koreans, and there was Thailand, wasn't it, afterwards, but particularly against South Korea. I mean, he said 5-4-1, but really it was a 9-1-0 or something. It was almost all 10 men behind the ball. Now, my point was, you can only do that if you have the physicality, the endurance, and the stamina, because it's hard work. Yeah. And that's why you saw this collapse, because after about, 55 minutes, an hour, they were spent. Yeah. They were absolutely shattered. You can't do it. Now, his boys, Radi Avramovic, when he came in, he said, I've got a load of big strapping lads. I've got Duric, I've got Bennett, I've got, who else did he have? Baihaki, and then Idias Kanda a little bit before that, and one or two others.
Halim.
Exactly. Yeah. I will build my tactics around what I have. I will build my tactics around what I have. That's all we were saying. To play that defensive football, you've got to have big, strong lads with endurance and stamina. And I'm not sure we have that. I'm not sure we have that. Alex, physicality, what do you think? It's your forte. You retired at Tampines, the fittest player in the squad.
I always believe you have to be fit to play the game. Of course, that's just one of the part of the game. Of course, you need tactically and technically, you need to have some aspect of game too. But physical is very important, especially in the internationally. In the league, you can hide yourself because especially our league have to be much stronger. I believe that players who is now playing in our league, that's the level of fitness they're having because it's not good enough when they go internationally. That's a true story. Yeah, we cannot hide that. And I believe to improve that, we have to make our league much stronger, much more competitive. The players have to be much more look as an athlete. Like when you look at them on TV, they look like really like a really fit boys. Yeah. And I honestly don't see that at the moment. Some yes, but when you want to play international games, it's a totally different game. The level of the football is totally different. There's a level of the fitness, level of the game, level of the the players is super fast. Everybody is super athlete. So you really need to prepare yourself to face that teams. And even us, when under the Radi, he knew that only, I think there's work on now us to get fitter and fitter and fitter. We can really battle with the other teams, and we did. And even with that, we couldn't really. We was always close, but we didn't. Didn't really produce. We did won the Suzuki Cup, but we was one time in Asian Cup nearly there against Jordan. I remember the game in Jordan. We were so close. We didn't at point, and we couldn't do it. There's a lot of factors who is always connected with for the players to get the fitness, to get and it's always, I believe that league need to be strong as a competition.
Fair enough. Well, moving on from that, we got a comment from COYS. I'm guessing that's come on you Spurs. Okay. Yeah. Very hard for me to say that is. And he says it's not about the language barrier issue because we said last week that Nishigaya, the Lions coach, should speak English. Come on you Spurs says, look at Malaysia. Does the Korean guy speak Bahasa? Does Klinsmann speak Korean? I'm going to throw that to you, Alex. How important is communication in the dressing room? Should the national coach share the language with the dressing room?
I mean, yes, I believe it's important to have some conversation in the language which one is players is understand. I believe that when it doesn't go in your way, and especially when you're in a halftime, I'm not sure if you're not speaking your language of the players, they understand how your anger and how you're going to give all the input which one you want it to be, or bang on the table and tell the boys to wake up or whatever it is. So that's one reason. I mean, another, I think, we can always say the football is universal language. Many coaches, whatever they say, players will do. They will understand what the coach trying to do. But it's very much. It's all these things connected. Of course, we will argue. He should speak very well English. Some like this comment they said is no need because there's some coaches who can show they don't speak language, but their team's doing well. But in our case, I think I think there's he as a coach, I think he should really to try to communicate with the players. He has to speak the language, and so it's easier for the players also to understand. Having people to help him around, I think, is not the best way to get the players to follow the coach's instruction.
Compare him with Yoshida, the previous head coach. When he comes in, the first thing he said, I want to improve my English. And he insists on doing all the press conference. And during the training, I also watch him, all in English. Although his English isn't that good, and the Japanese accent is very strong, he continues to insist on communicating in English. And that gave him the edge over Nishigaya in the sense that, the players, like, in the end, want to play for him during the Mitsubishi Suzuki Cup. And playing against Indonesia in that semi-final. And I just want to say that also in Singapore, it's a multiracial country, all of us know. And the moment when we go into studies, always the thing is that English is the one which will connect you between all the races. And then we are indoctrinated by that kind of mentality. That doesn't matter which race you are, as long as I can speak English, I can communicate with you. And that is I'm sure all the players in the football team also believe that. As long as you can speak English, no matter how bad or how good you are, if we can communicate, it's fine. We can work together. And that I think Nishigaya missed out on this kind of connection, and I don't know how much it affected the results. But I think he needs to put a concerted effort into improving his English if he has to stay on.
I agree. I mean, we said last week, Pep Guardiola took a whole year out to learn English. He went on sabbatical after the German job. He said, I'm not going into the English Premier League so I can talk to the players in English. But that's our views. Let us know what you think. Okay, moving on. The reason, many reasons, but one of the reasons why this young man is on our show is because thank you for that. You highlighted to me some extraordinary results with ActiveSG.
There was a social media photo of the ActiveSG under 15 squad beating the Balestier Khalsa under 17 or
under 15
both under 15
under 16,
in the tournament. 17-0, 12-0 by halftime. They put there.
A stupid question. 90-minute game, right? 90-minute game, 17-0.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, this ActiveSG is better than the Singapore Premier League clubs. I mean, that's what the influence is on social media. But obviously, you are the best person to talk about. ActiveSG. How successful have you been to groom players?
I mean, let's not look at the results. I think this was a one-off result, and I must applaud for my boys because they play game from the start to the end. Unfortunately, there was a big score, but I want to say that what academy as ActiveSG Football Academy we started in 2016. And those boys who played that game actually is the boys who was with us from 2016.
Pioneer batch.
Yes, Pioneer bench. And they grow up from the different age groups all the way from under 8, 10, 12, and up to now to under 15. And that I'm proud of because, there's a continuity there. There's a, pathway for the boys to, enjoy and playing, first of all, fun. And now the competitive games, which one is the COE league. And, they not just to, I always believe, there's not just to be player, but it's important to being in, as a player, you have to also to learn a lot of life values, which one is so important because then connecting these two things is, then you can get this combination of the really good professional football players. And I hope for the boys who is with us, not just under 15, I have under 13 also who, played in Youth Champions League and they finish, I think, second or third this season, also with a lot of these different academies and clubs. So I believe that what we are doing is a good job. We actually don't mind the players being, actually a lot of our players also been taken with another clubs. They are playing for Sailors, Gaylines and different clubs. And I'm happy for that because, this is what is ActiveSG Football Academy about, to support ecosystem of the football in the another clubs and academies to take and if they have a progression day, I'm super happy. I saw these boys, traveling in yesterday. I saw some of them traveling with the LCS in the Thailand for the game. Some of them was in one of my players went in with the Geylang up in Japan for the. I'm super happy because this is hopefully in the long term it's a really good project, and I'm hoping that. Public and everybody around us will be patient enough because this is what is missing at the moment. Patient because we don't having enough good results. Hopefully that all this project, which one is ActiveSG or whatever is a UTR project, Unleash the Raw. Hopefully in the next 5 years we will get really boys. Not all, of course. You'll never have this. But if we get 10 good boys who will, carry the football in our country, I think we should be all happy.
What are you doing differently at ActiveSG, Alex? The reason I ask that is we talk about this many times. It often goes viral. A lot of the young line sides, the age group sides, they play internationally. They often get beaten quite heavily.
C Games 7-0.
C Games quite heavily. Other age group tournaments, quite heavy losses. And here you are with a young batch of boys and you're beating a S-League development side 17-0. What are you doing and what does Singapore youth football need?
Actually, to be honest, I'm not happy what I'm doing. I'm never a happy guy.
That might be the reason. You're a perfectionist.
Yes, I am. I really am. I can't hide. I'm a principal of the ActiveSG Football Academy. My coaches know what I want from them, and I'm never happy with whatever we do. I don't really care about results because for this young age group, actually result is not priority. Right. Priority them to really groom them to be the one-day professional football players. Some of them will be professional football players. Some of them will play maybe, in the end, they will maybe go a different way and play social football, but it's good for them also to be connected to the sport. Maybe one day will be fans of the clubs or national team, definitely. They will follow the football. They will one day play against friends and know that they grow up together in the ActiveSG Football Academy or different academies. So I'm really hard on the coaches, and I want them to to make those players not just tactically, technically, mentally, physically, and also to be character. They have to have a good character. That's so important because it's with whatever I see a lot of talented boys here in this country while I was playing here. I saw them. What they're missing was a good character.
But that seems strange because this country with national service, we're disciplined, we're well behaved, we're obedient. These are the stereotypes. So why is that not coming over into the sport? Where is that academic discipline? Why don't we have it in sports?
I believe now we are more balanced than before.
Okay.
In that. I think we are balanced. I think the boys now today and the girls actually, we have both. I believe that I thought that when I was growing up, I didn't have many of this distraction from the anything except I study and play football and sport. today you see our boys and girls, they have a study, they have a sport, they have video games, they have iPhones, they have many things, lot of distraction, but they are still doing it's a pressure. It's a pressure for them also. We don't realize that. We think, they are, strawberry their generation. Actually, they're not. If you look at it's tough. It's a lot of more. They have a lot of more on the plate than we used to have. And I believe sport is so important here for this country for the kids to play. And so for the ActiveSG Football Academy, we are lucky because definitely is support from the government. But this is one of the way for the all sports to help, to produce whatever. In my case, is a football, maybe for tennis or basketball. We have a different academies in ActiveSG to help those national association, also to better to have these kids to have a pathway for to hopefully some of them will really pick up and become professional sportsmen. And but I wanted to not pressurize the kids and the young. They shouldn't be underage. They shouldn't be pressurized to. The result is so important. As we know, the parents is being parents. I'm a parent also. I want my kid, to do the best and, score so many goals or whatever, to win the games, and then we post that on the social media. To me, that is not most important. It's important to see the kids enjoying the game. Everybody have a ball in the legs, the touches and, play good football. Whatever results, that's not important in younger age groups. When they grow up, now 16, 17, we're talking, that we can say, okay, now is the time for them to feel the pressure. When the younger age groups, and this is in our academy, in ActiveSG Academy, because we are grassroots academy, I personally don't believe in the results. Kids, they come, play. I have a lot of support from the parents. You have to have a support from the parents. They are one who own the kids. And if they don't see the kids not enjoying their football, they will definitely not bring them. So so everything is connected.
Right. So they need the passion and they need good support from the parents. But last point for me, do they have enough space? Now, there's a story this week. I got to bring this story up, Alex. There's a story this week that sums up, in some ways, the Singaporean psyche, right? Yeah. It went viral. The Sembawang Town Council
I saw that too.
Cordoned off an area of the void deck because kids were playing football there. And you know what it's like in Singapore. There might have only been one complaint, two complaints. Yeah. That's enough. The guys go down and they put up a whole thing. Kids can't play football anymore. Now, on Sunday, a place where I used to play football with my daughter, just opposite my place at Keong, another round of saplings planted, in the Plant a Tree campaign, which I support. I've written books for N Parks. It's a separate issue. That's even fewer green spaces now. Farrer Park is going. Grandstand at Bukit Timah is going. Buangkok is gone. The green spaces of Buangkok have gone. We still don't have enough places to play.
Now you want to play, you pay.
Yeah.
Go to the...
I'll disagree with you because because I've been around and now after retirement and joining the Sport SG and ActiveSG, I realized actually it's a lot of places, but the people actually choose. Of course, I understand that because of the weather and all this, they choose the prime timing. Which one is afternoons in 5 to 7 or 7 to 9, and then is a lot of people chasing the same dream, and nobody want to play in the sun, nobody want to wake up in the morning and train in play. I believe, and hopefully we can work on that there is a lot of places to play if we can work closely with the MOE, because there's a lot of schools.
A lot of pitches just sitting there at the weekends.
Yes. And we the Sport SG, we do have a DUS fields, which one is dual usage of the fields. Not many, and fortunately not enough now at the moment, because it's after the third city is going to be closed, and it's less and less, and so we also feel the pressure. Trust me, there's a lot of complaints and the emails coming, but we're trying to accommodate as many academies to give them spaces to train with the kids. I feel for the kids who don't have a chance to be in academies and they want to play in downstairs somewhere. Unfortunately, we are very super safe country, and I felt sorry for that when I saw this there's this, I believe is some reason why is that been posted. We actually shouldn't be playing there. I think there's a lot of enough academies and a lot of even coming to ActiveSG, it's very affordable. It's very cheap. I have 15 centers, and I'm going to have more centers in the future, next couple of years. to join, for the kids to come and join. It's really a few dollars actually per session.
And if you if they block off one void deck, just go to the other one. There's so many void decks.
Yeah, we do. I live in the HDB. I see my kids playing downstairs.
I used to play downstairs. I used to play downstairs.
Depends from the I think you need to be very good with the neighbors. Treat them with some sweet chocolates and
one of them complains, go to the other one.
Usually,
warfare.
It's a war. Which one is you can't win, but you can find some way to play.
Look, at Yahoo Footballing Weekly, we do not condone the playing of football on void decks. We kind of do. Just be smart and don't get caught. All right. If you have any comments about anything we've talked about today, enough spaces, are we physical enough? Send all your comments to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on Twitter, Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
Brilliant. Alex, that was an absolute pleasure, my friend.
Yeah.
Thank you for
so much.
coming
Doing
on.
a great job for Singapore football.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Get online, look at ActiveSG, all the sports in Singapore, see what this guy's doing. There are centres all around the courses. There are all kinds of programs. Anywhere they should go online to look?
There's an ActiveSG website for the academy and clubs. You can choose football, basketball, tennis.
Everything.
Yeah.
All the academies.
There's so many academies to
We'll give
choose.
you the website.
I believe, actually, I wanted to say one thing, that don't specialize the kids in young age for the one sport. Try to different sports, because it's, it doesn't mean that you maybe end up playing football or tennis. Or I was an Olympian in canoeing. So, I can tell you that please don't, as a parent, I am a parent, try not to specialize. It's good for the kids to try different sports.
Brilliant.
And see in the end what sport will actually boy or girl take in the end.
And if you do swimming, you'll see a 50-foot high of him.
I need to move that
at the Senko swimming complex.
I need to move that poster because I don't know what I have with the swimming. Everything is football. I should be on the football stadium.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And on that note, folks, thanks for watching. As always, keep your comments coming, and we'll be back same time, same place next week. Take care, guys.
Take care.